take knowledge from what pains me and give thanks for what nourishes me. Allowing, following, swallowing signs, directing the flow of traffic in the personal universe that is my body. Center of my own cosmos, my gut be the sun, the moon, my mind, skin the soil. What do I feed me? What seed me? What shall multiply, nullify, pacify, free me? My gut be the sun, pulling, fueling, pooling my mind in a delicate orchestra, orchestrated instantaneously across space and time. The moon, my mind, silently plucking the strings of my body, singing a song so old it can only be heard in the absence of all else, lest it be spoiled. My skin, the soil, bearing angels and demons born of all that lies beneath, singing sweetly, less discreetly, lush with lessons containing my most sacred possessions. I take knowledge from what pains me, give thanks for what nourishes me. Synapses lapping like seas at the soul of all my chi. I dive in and feel it wash over me. Salt stinging my senses, inner wisdom cleanse and take control of me. No, I won't always feel sublime, but can take the time to read the signs. Messages received, I will apply. Give thanks for all that's mine to hold, from toes to gut to mind. May all meridians align.
Welcome back to another episode of The Abstract. This is Mom, checking in live from the back of your minds, and with me we have the one and only...
Oh, Penny, still here thinking about plenty.
Sup, oh Penny?
Sup?
So today, we're going to be talking about plants and foods and diet, but primarily the relationship our bodies have with food. And when I say our body, I'm talking about both of our brains.
Which brains?
Both. The gut and the big fat one that's in at the top of your neck and behind your eyes.
The head one and the tummy one.
Right, that sounds much better. So those two brains are very important and have relationships with the things that we put into our body, and that includes both thoughts and food.
Right.
And of course, a really good way to set the space and tone will be to introduce the episode as well with nice quotes. So one of them from Pat Buchanan is, "Food that enters the mind must be watched as closely as food that enters the body." And then we got my favorite philosopher, who's also apparently a big weirdo, Hippocrates. And his quote was, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." I'm a really big fan of that one. But those two really set the space and tone for what we're trying to go for with all the content that we're going to be presenting to you guys on this episode.
Right, because your food is literally the fuel for your body, physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Fuel's important. If you're putting diesel in a car that runs on electric and doesn't take diesel,
I don't think you could do that.
Niggas can try. But as you can see, just off of hearing it, maybe that's all you needed was to say it out loud and you realize, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll just plug this in instead of pumping this nasty stuff inside my car.
Right. Or how they have the premium versus the regular. And if you put regular gas in a Beamer, that shit'll break. And then you'll have to spend a bunch of time and money repairing it. Because you didn't follow the instructions. You didn't listen to what it said it needed.
You also know what sucks too?
Huh.
When you put premium gas in a Beamer.
And it still breaks.
Yep, because you went to the wrong gas station.
Ooh, see? You gotta know your sources too.
Everything's important, yo.
Awareness.
But yeah, jumping right into the concept. So this idea that the gut is your second brain, a really cool way to digest that is to think about the chemicals and hormones within your brain. You have neurotransmitters, which are really important in the functioning of that organ up top, as well as the second brain down low in your tummy. And specifically, we have But we're going to put the spotlight on serotonin, which actually regulates your appetite, mood, sleep, and your own pain sensitivity. And about majority of your serotonin neurotransmitters, aka about 95% of them, are actually made in your gut.
Which is why it's your second brain.
Exactly. Your gut's filled with over 1 million neurons. So the only other place keeping up with that number is your literal up top brain.
Your top of the neck brain.
Top of the neck. I'm sticking to that from now on. When I speak to a doctor, I'll be like, bro, the top of my neck brain has been killing me today.
They'd be like, first of all, let's start with why you calling it the top of your neck brain.
I'm gonna be like, first of all, why don't you understand what the fuck I'm talking about?
Secondly, 95% of the neurotransmitters are in my fucking...
stomach brain.
Tummy brain. Yeah. That.
Same word.
Which
Synonyms.
is, like when they say listen to your gut, it's because you do have to listen to your gut.
Right. There's a reason why when you get nervous, your gut does things also, as well as your brain starts, or your top of the neck brain starts doing stuff too.
Your head brain.
Head brain, stomach brain. Got it. All right. So these neurons that we're talking about that are in your gut.
Not the cap?
No.
Not the head?
No.
Just
stomach,
the tip?
Chill, bro. Talking about tips. We talking about neurons and guts right now. Whoa, that's...
neurons and guts, man.
Alright, you guys, don't take it sexually at all. We went from tip to guts. Anyway, the neurons,
in them
the
guts.
millions of neurons, come on, Open, the millions of neurons that are being created in your gut, as well as the serotonin, are dependent on the bacteria that you end up eating. Because that bacteria is going to be on food or things that you touch, being ingested, slides down your body, then makes its way through your intestines and your gut. And the bacteria itself can be labeled as good or bad, but that depends on the actual quality and amount of food that you're eating. So good bacteria is going to be able to help protect your body against toxins. It's going to limit inflammation. It's going to improve absorption of nutrients from food, which is very, very important. And also it activates the neural pathways directly linked between both your brains. So top of your neck brain and stomach brain have a direct line of communication. That bacteria is playing a really big role. Imagine that bacteria is kind of like your cell service, and both your brains have cell phones. If you don't have good bacteria or good service, these niggas are not going to be talking to each other that well. It's going to be a lot of like this.
Oh.
And
I just had this whole scenario play out in my head. I was like, yeah, it's like ants versus like roaches. Roaches is, they just be flying around doing whatever the fuck they want. But like ants, they have a whole system. Like they work together in a community.
So, yeah, one's a colony with one brain, the other is a bunch of fuckboys.
Yeah, essentially.
Do you want a bunch of fuckboys in your stomach, or do you want a whole colony with... Stop. Do you want some fuckboys in your gut? All up in there? Or do you want a whole colony of obedient, loyal, supportive...
Like
workers.
How can we make ants sound good? like something you want inside your body.
Not a fuckboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be a good place to actually start talking about some of those things that might start happening when a person isn't balanced. There might be something going on with their diet. There might be something going on with their lifestyle that ends up leading to cravings, which is a really, really important topic, which Penny, I'll let you take away. You want to tell us about cravings?
Yeah, so like think about it like this. Like you have, like a lot of people have problems listening to their top of neck brain, their head brain.
Top of the neck
they
brain.
They barely listen to their gut brain. But like it's super important because like Mom was just explaining, it regulates a lot. So when you have your body, it's like a craving is your body telling you that it wants something, but it's not getting it. So what it does is it sends signals to your head brain,
top of the neck brain,
top of the neck brain to make it happen. And when you don't listen, it hits you with an emotion that correlates with something that makes you want to eat what your body needs. And this is like not a new concept at all. For centuries, TCM has used food therapy as one of the a big part of healing. So you crave specific flavors that are corresponded with various imbalances within our organ systems. Generally, the taste cravings are classified as sweet, salty, bitter, pungent, or sour. And the stronger you crave it, the more imbalance there is, typically. And also, as a side note, stress often stimulates our cravings no matter what kind of flavor you're craving. So, and actually, TCM considers stress as a pathogen itself because it's so destructive on the mind and body. Stronger cravings are an indication of a deeper problem and is often accompanied by other symptoms consistent with patterns of dis-ease. So, if we want to talk about the different kinds of tastes, because they're very important to identify by listening to your gut so that you can treat it, so that you can actually give your body what it needs.
Like what?
So the first one would be bitterness. So it's kind of like coffee is a common example. We all drink coffee. I mean, a lot of people put sugar in it. Some people. But
some people mainly drink sugar with a splash of coffee.
Yeah, we'll get into that next.
Starbucks.
And I think that's why it's so hard for us to actually listen to our guts, because things are so, not like it's impure, but it's like so mashed up we can't even tell the difference between certain things because it's masked. So it's like you're drinking coffee which is bitter, but if you mask it with sweetness, then you don't know what you're getting. Your body doesn't know what it's getting. I mean, it finds out, but like you yourself aren't really feeling the need that your body is telling you it has. So anyway, with bitterness, it suggests that we need to consider heart health, blood pressure, and also healthy relationships with others, because, emotional and physical implications. It's because things like coffee are acidic. It means that we need often to have more pH regulation. So we have a little bit more basicness in our diet. Shade. Back to basics.
Shade.
Not shade, just back to basics.
We have a lot of basicness in our body. Sounds shady as fuck.
It does, but that's because we aren't used to being back to basics.
Sure.
So we're like offended.
As a basic bitch would.
Right. Basic bitches get offended.
Mm-hmm. And we're all basic bitches sometimes.
You gotta tap into your inner basic bitch, man. That's all we're saying. No, we're saying a lot more. So one example of that is if you're super acidic, you could drink baking soda, which would have a cooling effect. And often if you are acidic, you'd feel super hot. Like your body can feel it if you're attuned. There's sweet cravings next, which means that there's a spleen or pancreas and stomach imbalances. So often when we crave sweetness, we're craving sugar, like floury kind of tastes. And those are strong indicators that we have digestive issues, and it's not our systems aren't functioning well enough to supply us with the energy that we actually need. And if there's not enough blood glucose or like sugar that's giving us the energy, then we crave it and our body keeps asking for more. But if we eat quote unquote bad sugars, it's not actually giving us the kinds of sugars that we need. And that also kind of explains why if we're super stressed, it makes us want to eat sweet things because our body's craving sweetness. But, it's all balance and being aware of what kind of fuel you're putting into your body. Which brings us to the next one, the next taste kind, which is salt cravings. One of my favorites, chips. This might say something about me. But when you crave saltiness, it means that you need to focus on your kidney and urinary or bladder health. Salt, as you guys know or may not know, but it helps retain fluid. So one of the things, I don't know, I feel like more people might know this, but like when you're thirsty, you sometimes will eat chips or like want saltiness too because you don't have enough fluids, you don't have enough water, so your body's telling you you need to retain more hydration. So that's where that comes from. And lastly, we have next we have pungent food cravings, which are associated with the large intestine and lungs. Now, traditional Chinese medicine says that lungs are responsible for immunity because, when you're breathing, it brings oxygen into your body. And that explains why deep breathing exercises is often referred to as helping increasing our flow of qi. So, you're like, yes, I feel it. I feel the qi. I feel my body. It's working. Pungency helps with that in expelling pathogens because it's bringing the defensive qi, or aka immunity, to the surface. So that's like when, like sweat that breaks a fever when you're sick. Which also makes sense as to why a lot of the quote-unquote good-for-you soups and the foods of the old country, so to speak, they smell really strong. So, like, my grandma would always make good-for-you soups, and it would just be like, ooh. But you'd have to have an acquired taste for it. But, a lot of times, all those foods that smell really strong and kind of offensive to certain kinds of people, they had medicinal properties. People were eating it for a reason, And the actual last one, sour, we'll get into that in the next section because it's kind of related and is actually a good thing. It can be a good thing. But it's all tied together. Because next we're going to talk about abstract snacks. But this time it's actually snacks.
So first up to bat are apples. And apples, besides being extremely delicious and come in a massive variety due to human brilliance, as I like to say, we apply diversity to things we eat. Apples can provide you with relief in muscle tension and can also improve fertility in women through their the peels, as there is a lot of fiber in those peels that have been known to improve fertility.
Also, to tie it back to TCM, sour apples, the green ones, they're also when you crave sourness, it's associated with like sour-mindedness and stagnation. So when you want to eat, or when you're craving apples, it's because you're trying to move past that. You're trying to release things. So it's also associated with nowadays people are doing gallbladder cleanses, and one of the ingredients in the cleanse is a bunch of apple juice because it has malic acid and all this stuff. But yeah, it helps release things that your body was holding on to in your gallbladder, which, makes sense. Why it would release muscle tension? It would release gallstones,
Man, fuck stones inside your body. As someone who's had a kidney stone, it is not fun. Alright, next up we got fatty fish. Prime examples of this would be salmon, trout, tuna, and even sardines. And these are really good because they are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which the brain uses to actually boost nerve and cell growth, or brain cell growth, which is also known as neurogenesis. And this growth is going to help improve learning and memory and decision making. Also, side note is that children experience a very high volume of neurogenesis, which is why they can learn so much all the fucking time. Little sponges of joy and noise. But a lack of omega-3 fatty acids can actually result in depression and impact your mood regulation, which is one and the same, right? If you are experiencing cycles of depression, your mood regulation is totally off due to fluctuation and lack of certain hormones going through your entire body in both top of your neck brain and stomach brain.
Yep, sometimes you just need some smoked salmon toast, man.
Or just a can of sardines that's not a can of sardines because it's too salty. Yeah. That's a joke. Next up, blueberries, and really most berries that have a really strong, deep color. Those are going to be really helpful in that they provide anti-inflammation and they are well-known antioxidants. And these two components are really, really, really helpful in helping the brain slow down, specifically in its breaking down over time. Because, of course, our bodies break down naturally. If it's not producing more cells, they die off, right? So your brain's going to age in time, and these things help slow down that aging. And in that, it's going to then improve communication between the cells as well as memory, since those cells are still strong rather than breaking down quickly over time.
And also, the berries are a healthy form of the sweetness. So if you're craving sweetness, you can eat berries, blueberries, raspberries, whatever berries. And it's preemptive. It's also preemptive against period cramps. So if you eat those before you're going to get your period, it'll help. Because antioxidants.
Alright, next up we got broccoli and turmeric. These two seem kind of random. However, they both are going to have similar composition and benefits to berries and blueberries. So they help improve memory and do support cell growth. Then following that, we got chocolate. Good old chocolate. These contain flavonoids, which ironically sounds just like flavor. Do have a lot of flavor in chocolate, but flavonoids are going to be antioxidant plant compounds, and these specifically are very potent and present in cocoa or cacao in some places.
Cocoa? Do they say it like that?
Depends on where you are, right? But,
yeah.
And if you speak Portuguese, if I said shit, or poop rather, that's my bad. But there's merda, but I believe cacao can also mean poop. That's not the point. Point is, flavonoids can help put you in a better mood. And yes, some scientists will joke and say, oh, it's just a flavor that does this. But once again, it's kind of the irony intertwined with the word itself of flavonoids, as it sounds just like flavor.
The flavor flav.
Right. So maybe it's the sweet taste that help pick you up, or it's the actual antioxidants that are within the cells of the chocolate.
I wonder if Flavor Flav named himself on purpose like that, because then he's like, I'm gonna boost people's mood, like flavonoids.
I'm pretty sure Flavor Flav called himself Flavor Flav because it had a sexual meaning to it.
Not because he's like, I'm flavorful.
Or no, he's more old and crusty. Up next, we got eggs. Eggs contain choline.
Coagulated chocolate now.
He definitely melting and trying to stay coagulated.
Okay, you brought it back together.
Eggs.
This looks a little different.
I like eggs. Do you like eggs?
I do.
You love eggs.
I eat an egg damn near every morning. Or, let's not play, it's not morning. Every brunch time.
It's your morning.
It's my morning.
Which is usually...
for breakfast.
4 p.m.
It's not. Why are you playing me like that?
It's a joke. But eggs contain choline, and these get used to help create acetylcholine, which is another neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood and improve memory. And the part of the egg that has a lot of this choline itself is going to be in the yolk.
Side note, that's probably what Erykah Badu was talking about in that one song. She's like, that's choline. She's talking about that.
I believe
it sounded like she was talking about a person, but I feel like she's talking about...
maybe she meant Nicole and said it with a southern drawl.
Maybe. I'm gonna go listen back. You guys check in. Let me know what you think.
Eggs also contain a bunch of B vitamins, and not all of them, but majority of them do help slow down mental decline, which is going to be intertwined with the whole... your brain isn't aging faster, so there's going to be better communication amongst the cells within the brain itself. And top of your neck and stomach brain. Alright, next. We got green tea, a really good alternative to coffee, which some coffee in moderation can be good for you. However, not everyone's drinking proper amounts of coffee, let alone drinking pure coffee. They usually got something else in it. But green tea is going to be really helpful in making you relax, yet without making you also feel sleepy. So more of a calm relax rather than an exhausted relax. It also improves your memory, alertness, and focus. And all this is due to an amino acid in the tea that gets to cross the blood-brain barrier, which is going to be kind of like the force field that your brain puts up so that it can protect itself from all the other toxins and random things that, we humans tend to ingest, because I'm pretty sure there's still children out there eating rocks and pennies. And if we could just break that down and get all the chemicals from that into the brain, it might not be so good.
Or bad.
No, it'll definitely be bad.
Yeah. And it's alkaline. So even though it's a little bit bitter, it's a more alkaline kind of bitterness that you can tap into if you're craving that. Also, carrots, they improve your vision, just like Grandma says, and they also prevent heart disease.
If you eat enough carrots, you might almost be able to see in the dark, like
Mom over here.
And Native Americans.
They ate a bunch of carrots.
They ate a lot of vegetables that had many of the similar chemical compounds that are in carrots, which also help them see at nighttime.
That's some nerd shit, man. See? Ancestors be eating the foods that you needed.
They also don't be growing GMO foods that don't have anything.
Yeah, them carrots were probably shaped like that little ginger baby in Pan's Labyrinth.
I'm not trying to imagine Native Americans eating small babies.
It wasn't it looked like that, though. You know
That's
how
what
they
I'm
have
saying. I'm not trying to imagine them eating things that look like small babies.
I'm just saying, you know how like now where they're GMO'd, they make them look perfect by putting a bunch of GMOs in it, whereas regular pure-blooded vegetables
and fruits
are shaped all kinds of ways.
Also, too, I will say my favorite GMO thing is bananas, because bananas actually have really small seeds now, so you can actually eat a whole banana and it tastes sweet. Yeah, ancestral bananas had really big seeds. It was mostly seed and was very bitter. I would not eat that shit.
So was corn, actually. Corn was like super hard, apparently.
Yeah, and now we got these corns with really small kernels.
It's mostly GMO. It's mostly
just
fake.
Mutated shit, but tastes good.
But so are dogs.
Alright, that's a tangent for another day. We draw lines here. We have boundaries, right?
Yep.
Boundaries.
Yep.
That's important.
Boundaries.
But yes, all these foods and snacks, as we say, are going to be very, very, very important to consider in your diet, how much you're eating of them, making sure you're getting the proper, calorie amounts of your day, but also, the proper fuel for your body. Make sure you're eating those carbs, but the healthy kinds. Make sure you're eating those fats, but not the trans fats, or at least not too many of them. Making sure you're getting your sugar, but not the processed sugar in high amounts, etc., etc. You want your body to be able to have the proper, clean fuel that it deserves, or else you're going to be walking around with 2 flat tires and a cracked windshield, not really functioning at the fullest capacity that your whole body could be.
Yeah. At the end of the day, listen to your body. It might not jive with all the kinds of foods we just mentioned, but if you tap in, you can figure out what your body is asking for, and then, do some research of yourself. Figure out what it needs. Figure out like, oh, maybe I feel like this, so I need to eat more of this. And then the more you listen to your body, the more in tune you'll be with yourself, the better relationship you'll have with yourself. It's all tied together. Your mental health will be like popping and not stopping.
Also, too, if you're not sure where to look, talk to your family about foods that grew up or foods that were grown and common in their culture, in their neighborhoods, and around them, because more often than not, where your people are from, the foods that also are very symbiotic with your body are nearby.
Right.
So if your family maybe grew up in a more tropical place, there are going to be certain vegetables and fruits that are going to most likely actually improve, or rather get along better and fuel your body better than other things, say, in a more desert-like climate or perhaps a colder climate. So have those conversations with your parents. What were foods and vegetables that they often ate when they were smaller? Why? How do they feel after eating them? What are really common ingredients that they have in a lot of their recipes? My mom puts garlic and onions in almost everything she fucking cooks. I'm not mad at it. Tastes really awesome.
Yeah.
2, it's really easy to grow onions in Nigeria. Huh. Who would have thought?
Makes sense. In Chinese food, there's a lot of, or even Southeast Asian food, there's a lot of ginger and green onion. Very pungent smells, but also very medicinal. You can actually boil green onion to make a good tea that'll like knock the sickness out of you. Bet you didn't know that.
Like Muhammad Ali style.
Yeah, just want to.
Or more Mike Tyson style, because it might bite the ear off that sickness that's in you, make it run away like a punk ass bitch.
Yeah, or if you got cramps or whatever, any kind of sickness, the heat from the ginger will do pretty similar of a thing, and it'll calm down inflammation, and it's delicious. Tap into your roots food wise.
Because it's important.
Yeah, it makes sense because you grow up. I mean, we all have different types of DNA from a specific. Like if you're from a specific area, it would make sense that your body would jive with the plants and land in that area.
We all have 99.9% same DNA, but yeah.
But compositionally of like the other
cultural ancestral connection to the land is definitely very important.
Yeah.
And being able to tap into the actual ancestral connection rather than the foreign connections that are surrounding you at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because if we had different DNA, people are going to be like, yeah, the vaccine gave me a different DNA too. And then
maybe DNA wasn't the correct term, but like, if you eat certain kinds of foods, it'll make your body look certain kinds of ways. We all know that from being introduced to the concept of diets.
Yeah, eating is a diet.
Right, but if people want to look like certain ways, that's why they do the whole paleo thing where they're like, I'm only going to eat meat and broccoli forever because they want to look a certain way, but it's like different people from different regions have a certain like physiological appearance because they had mostly food from that area,
Yeah, the environment definitely impacts the way your body ends up developing over time.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
All right, next section. Ask the abstract. So we got 3 questions in line, ready to be knocked out the park. First question, you're up, Penny. What is a food you despise or thought was gross when you were young, but you ended up growing up to like it when you're older?
Hamu.
What's that?
It's this stanky-ass fish dish. Pretty much like a lot of the food that was really smelly in Chinatown was kind of like, ooh, I don't know about, ooh, that smells real bad. But actually, I don't know if I despised it, but it was definitely like more like, ooh, I don't know, that smells intense. But then once you eat it, it's like, yeah, it shit tastes delicious. Yeah. What about you?
I would say kale. I didn't like kale when I was a child because it was too bitter for my liking. It also smelled kind of funny compared to the other vegetables that were around. But kale is really tasty. Very simple. Just put some salt and pepper on it and you got a beautiful snack right there.
Yeah. You ever had kale chips, man? Or like homemade kale chips?
Just pop them in the oven. A little bit of oil. Got yourself a whole snack.
Healthy.
Alright, next question. What food or dish helps you relax?
Are we talking like comfort food relax?
You decide what relax means to you.
Can you go first?
Yeah, pizza.
Got it.
Lots of carbs so I have energy, but at the same time I feel my body breaking it all down. So while I'm eating it, I'm hella calm and relaxed. Just afterwards, I'm a little tired, but more so mentally at a really calm place. And then later on, I tend to have a lot of energy that I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. And that lets me not feel grumpy because I have to do stuff or, I'm in a good place while I'm proceeding to finish my day.
It's a hard, I like vegetables a lot, but the thing that I'm finding in common with all the different options in my head right now is that they're all pretty heavily spiced. So like,
is there a common spice that you put on your vegetables? Maybe that's the key ingredient.
I eat so much turmeric, y'all. Like, I eat turmeric almost every day. It's a common spice that I put in, like, on my vegetables. There's, like, this one, I think it's Queen Afua popcorn recipe. It's not popcorn, it's okra popcorn, but she had, like, this raw okra, and you chop it, and then you put turmeric, some chili, like cayenne or chili powder, garlic. You can dice some garlic with it. Salt, pepper, lemon juice. I don't know. I guess that would relax me because I really like eating it, but it wouldn't slow me down necessarily.
That's like green tea. It doesn't slow you down, but
Yeah.
it relaxes you.
Yeah. Plus, I like chopping stuff.
Now you're getting off topic, but that is beautiful that you know that cooking, the process of cooking,
Helps
calms
me
you down.
relax, yeah.
And you have a key herb that'll
It's
help you
turmeric,
do that too.
yeah.
All right, last and final
It's anti-inflammatory.
question. Broccoli and turmeric, same as blueberries and other deep berries, as we mentioned earlier. But last question. If you could use only 3 spices or herbs for the rest of your life, which ones would you use? For me, I got salt, black pepper, and thyme.
Oof.
Or if I can't use thyme,
I'm like, garlic is not a spice, right?
no, because that's the...
It's
yeah,
not
you
an
could just
herb
use
either.
that.
It's a vegetable.
It's just been dried up.
Yeah.
Well,
They're all vegetables.
turmeric
they've all
itself,
been. Yeah, it's a root.
it's a herb.
Yeah.
And that's included in the question.
So is ginger.
All right. Let me rephrase all that shit then. Hold on.
Okay, changing the
Salt,
rules.
no.
It's the same
Garlic.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Garlic. Cinnamon.
Mm.
Yeah, and black pepper. I have to go with black pepper.
Damn, it's like almost like one of them has to be salt.
No.
Not for me, like I'm thinking about the palate. One of them has to be salt, unless the food itself has saltiness in it.
It sounds like you said if it has Tina's in it. Because you broke up saltiness.
Yeah.
It got saltina's in it.
Saltines.
Alright, come on now. What's your 3? Come on now.
Ginger.
Salt.
Garlic. Dang, I have to say turmeric or salt. I want 4.
No, you only get 3.
Alright, since it's hypothetical, turmeric, since I already said that. Ginger. And, actually, if green onion is a spice or an herb, I'll say that.
Alright.
Because if you combine those two, man, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Healthy answers right there.
Mm-hmm. That's some medicine right there.
For your brain and for your brain at the top of your neck and brain in your stomach.
My neck brain and my tummy brain
Alright, y'all, we're gonna
happy.
We're gonna end this conversation here. We feel like this is a very good amount of medicine for you guys to ingest, take in, swallow, process, and really get the ball rolling and figuring out what plants and foods really speak to your body, really help you live the lifestyle you want to live, but also help you cope the way you want to cope as well. Maybe you're being slowed down by the things you're eating, or maybe the things you're eating are actually doing you a lot of justice, and it's something else in your lifestyle or world that's causing issues. But all in all, be mindful about the things you eat, and also be grateful about things you eat. It's all intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And also remember, we do accept questions for our Ask the Abstract section. You can hit us up on Gmail at
asktheabstract@gmail.com.
Or you can slide into our DMs on Instagram. Also, check out our story. We've been posting more on our story with this question as well. We do, or will rather, be putting some prompts for types of questions if you need some inspiration. But anything relating to psychology, mental health, wellness, shit, even philosophy, anything that floats your boat about this whole thing that we call life.
Yeah.
You got a question about it? Send it over to us. Our Instagram account is theabstract.work.
Mm-hmm. Sprinkle us. We're trying to start some conversations. With ourselves, with each other, with y'all. We're trying to bring this whole mental health game to the forefront.
On a healthy note, though. Not on that bullshit where it's just clickbait.
Yeah.
Also, we will be reformatting future episodes. We'll be having weekly releases for each month, all pertaining to one topic. So no, it's not going to be like hella different topics each month. Rather, say the month of August will all be about joy. And it'll be 4 episodes all pertaining to that. Similar to the structure and format to our abstracts and toolkits that we put out in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know much about those, head over to our website at theabstract.work.
Check them out.
You'll love them.
Do some work.
Promise you that. Similar structure to how this episode was in itself, but with pictures and really pretty colors and really dope questions.
And it's all hand drawn. Well, the artwork is all hand drawn, custom for each abstract.
By the one and only Penny.
By yours truly. And it's all in little digestible, quick little snack formats.
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't take too much of your time, because we know everybody's busy these days.
Including us. So,
Yep.
Tap into your bodies, talk to your bodies, and make sure that you love your bodies, because you only got one.
Listen to your body.
Alright, y'all, this is Mom.
And this is Penny. And I have spoken.